Welcome to another episode of Sports and Discourse with your host, Derek Stevenson. And guys, we did it. I'm not going to lie to you. I felt like it was going to happen, man. I just felt like we was going to get them. I just love this team. I love this team's toughness. Yeah, we had a couple shaky moments, but for some reason, just in my heart, I knew we was going to get them tonight. And it's been a while. I think the last time we might have beat Duke might have been like 2015 or somewhere around in that era. But for some reason, I just knew we had them tonight. But anyways, if you don't know what I'm talking about, I don't see how you couldn't know what I was talking about. But number 19, Kentucky beat number 6, Duke, 77-72. And man, I am so happy we got this W. This just kind of makes, and I'm sure a lot of Kentucky fans are feeling the same way I am right now. It just makes us feel like we made the right decision with Mark Pope being our next coach after Coach Cal left us. Man, we went through a whole lot. You know, there was all kinds of names thrown up in the air. People was mad. People wanted this coach. People wanted that coach. Some people, was mad Calipari left. And as soon as we got Mark Pope, I just felt like he just started restoring the feeling of this program. He got everybody on board quick. Well, let me not say everybody. He got a lot of people on board. There's still some doubters, but I don't see how you could still be a doubter after tonight. I just feel like the program is in safe hands for the future, and I feel like it can only get better. Now, I'm not going to jump out the window. I'm not going to declare us national champions. I'm going to say that we definitely look like a solid team. I definitely feel like we can compete against anybody, and I do believe we're going to be making it out of the first weekend of the tournament. But anyways, let's get into some of these highlights while we go over this game and discuss what we loved about it and maybe some things that we didn't necessarily like. But let's get into these highlights. Check it out, man. And I'm not going to lie to you. Like I said, I just was really impressed with how tough the guys competed, man. There was moments in the game where I feel like it could have went super left, but guys, mentally they stayed in the game. They continued to play tough. They looked like they stayed composed, and that's just what you would kind of expect from some guys that's older. They got a lot of experience. I think they have over 500 collective games played, and they just they believe in themselves. They believe they can compete with anybody, and they showed it. Duke's got a lot of young, talented players, and I do think Duke is a good team. I do think Duke is going to get a lot better and probably be a threat in March, but so are we. Like, I feel like as much as I like the team already, I feel like we can get a lot better. Guys like, Otega Oweh, Brandon Garrison, Amari Williams, like, we just had Carr, like, we had guys that was really just battling, because Duke has a lot of size, and maybe they should have went in the paint a little bit more, but they got a decent front court, and we just kept battling, we kept fighting. Let me look at some of these numbers. Obviously, we know Cooper Flagg had himself a game, but one of the things that I loved was Kentucky stepped up their defense in the second half. I feel like even though Cooper had a monster game, 26 points and 12 rebounds, I feel like we played him really tough and we made him work for a lot of that. And I feel like we wore him down, and that's why maybe he might have had them several turnovers at the end of the game. He might have been gassed. But that's just what I like to see, and that's just what I believe this team is going to be able to do. I feel like with the experience that they got and Pope being able to use his whole entire roster basically, I just feel like we're going to stay in the games. We're going to give ourselves a chance. And even, if we may not start it off hot, or we might have some moments where we go dead offensively, we just got guys that's just going to play tough. that's just gonna make some plays. They're gonna stay in the game mentally, make good decisions. So I'm loving it, man. I can't, I believe it, but I can't believe it at the same time because I just feel like I wasn't expected. I mean, we just gotta be honest. I'm not trying to dog Calipari, but over the last several years, it had just started to get to a point where when we in these type of games with these type of teams, we just feel like it's always like the ball is always going to bounce the opposite direction. We're not going to make the right plays. We're going to end up giving the games away. And a lot of that probably was due to our inexperience, our youth. But now we got guys that know what they're doing. We got guys that have been in the battles before. And we got guys that's just going to stay in the game, going to keep grinding and work hard, and we can pull out some of these victories. Andrew Carr, 17 points, 5 rebounds, 2 for 3 from 3. Had himself a ball game, man. And then Amari Williams. Amari Williams is just one of those guys, man. Like, I love Amari's game, even though he didn't really necessarily shoot the ball well, but he's still going to give you, 10 points, 8 rebounds. And he didn't actually have a whole lot of assists, but Amari's just one of those guys that for some reason when the ball gets in his hand, it's just like you can run the perimeter players around him, and he's going to make the right reads, make the right passes, and he's just going to, make plays. So I just love Amari's intensity. I know that, everybody's concerned with the free throw shot, and it looks a little crazy, but he actually did, he shot 4 or 5 free throws tonight. So even though it looks a little funky, he was hitting it tonight, and we needed every bit of it, obviously. So, yeah, man, like I said, I loved what I seen from the guys. And the bottom line is we just had guys that made those key plays when you need them, when you need defensive stops, when you need key rebounds. Like, we just had guys that was just finding themselves in the right spot and just making the right plays at the right time. Otega Owe, 15 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 for 3 from 3. But just a strong dude, just going to always play solid D, going to compete. Jackson Robinson didn't have a great game. He struggled tonight, but I really like the fact that even when, the guys that we expect, to lead us in scoring and different things like that, maybe if he has a night off, we still got guys that can pick up the slack. We still got guys that can make plays, so we don't have to depend on one particular person to do all the scoring. He only had 1 point and 1 rebound. I think he missed every shot he attempted. He was 0 for 4 and 0 for 3 from the three-point line. So we really didn't get nothing out of Jackson tonight, but we still got enough from everybody else. Lamont Butler had a steady game as usual, 9 points, 4 assists, 3 rebounds. And, he's one of those guys that, we're going to always be able to count on him playing solid defense. He's going to make it tough for the other team's guards. And I feel like both teams actually guarded each other really well tonight. Like, I don't really like giving Duke credit at all. But Duke got a nice team. They played some really good defense. So I think both teams actually are good defensive teams, to be honest with you. And I feel, like I said, I think both teams are going to be there at the end of the season. They're going to improve a lot. But I feel like Kentucky's going to get even better than they are right now. And I feel like once they really, really peak, I feel like they're going to be a strong team. Like, I love the fact that they kind of going, well, they might not be going under the radar anymore, but they were going under the radar. Nobody's paying attention to them. Everybody's expectations are low. Even mine, I try to keep my expectations in check because, the last couple of seasons I've really had my blue blinders on, thinking we was going to win the championship. So this year I'm just going to try to enjoy the ride. But man, I was just glad to see Mark Pope, his first time out the gate in the blue and white against a ranked opponent, get the victory. and especially over a team like Duke. And it just goes to show you, like I said, the program is in good hands. They picked the right guy, and he's just doing the right thing. He got the players playing. He's coaching. Like I said, I'm not trying to take no shots at nobody else, but you could just see the adjustments are being made. The coaching is happening. Like everything that we wanted so far, we are getting it out of this coach. Even after the game, like some of the stuff that he was saying about how, it's not about him. He's never going to be bigger than the program. It's about the kids. And he's excited that he got kids on his team that actually appreciate playing for Kentucky. They probably never thought they would be in Kentucky uniforms. And, obviously they playing for the name on the front of the jersey just as much as on the back is what it seems like. So everybody's getting what they want, man. I'm loving it right now. Like I said, the SEC is still a crazy tough conference. Kentucky's picked to finish 8th. So if that lets you know how tough the conference is going to be, there's a lot of opponents in there that's going to probably give us problems. But I feel comfortable that I can say that I think we can compete with any of them. So it's just going to be left up to us, But if we can continue to just play solid defense, I think that's one of the things that helps us, because sometimes we might have moments, might have stretches in the game where, our offense ain't really clicking. We're not shooting the ball well. We're not hitting the threes, but we can keep ourselves in it with defense and try to get turnovers and different things like that. So, like I said, I'm loving what I'm seeing, man. Kobe Brea had himself a nice, solid game. 8 points, 5 rebounds. Shot the 3 good again, 2 for 4. Then Brandon Garrison, man. Brandon Garrison, his numbers might not jump out at you, but Brandon is just one of those guys that he just gets in there. He's tough. He even knocked down the long-range jumper tonight. So, he gave us a solid 8 and 4. But just give us a nice presence around the bucket. He rolling to the basket. He's a decent passer. Excuse me. But yeah, man, he's just active. Almanor didn't really get to play much tonight. He didn't play bad. He played decent when he was in there. He knocked down a 3. But he just, Pope kind of shortened the leash a little bit, so not everybody really got a lot of minutes tonight. And Almanor, unfortunately, was one of the guys. He didn't get to play much, but I still love Almanor. I think he's steady, he's solid, and anytime he's in the game, I feel comfortable with him out there. I feel like he's capable of knocking down a 3 or making a play at any given time. So definitely appreciate what he brings to the team. Kerr Kriisa, it's kind of maybe you could say Kentucky doesn't really have a true point guard, but the point guards that we have, they keep the ball moving. They keep the offense going. They scrap on defense. They're gutsy. Excuse me again. They're not scared. You know what I'm saying? Kriisa is a confident guard, man, and he's gonna let it fly. Whether he's he gonna shoot that thing like he's Steph Curry or Dame Lillard or somebody like that. Like, it don't matter. As soon as he crosses half court, he feel like he's in range. So he's just another guy that could become deadly once he gets all the way comfortable in this system and stuff like that. Like, I know tonight he didn't have any assists, but I think the first game he had 12 assists. So he's doing what he's supposed to do. He's keeping the offense going. Everybody on this team plays together. One of the things that I kept hearing people say while we were actually playing was, I kept hearing people say, well, Kentucky doesn't have a person that they can put the ball in his hands and he can go get you a bucket. Or basically, we don't have anybody that one-on-one can beat their man. And maybe that might not be true. Ortega's probably the closest thing we got to somebody that could, beat somebody off the dribble, take his man and get a bucket. But the offense just really isn't designed like that. Like the offense is what it is. It's a motion, a highly, it's a offense where the ball's supposed to move. People are doing a lot of back cuts, a lot of screening is happening. So it's really not for guys to be doing one-on-one plays and taking people off the dribble. It's for them to stay consistent and stay in the game plan and try to get each other open shots. And that's what, I feel like they did that really well tonight. I feel like even when, sometimes things look like the offense might look like it's getting a little dead or guys might not have been shooting as well, I still feel like they stayed in their game plan and did what they had to do. And, they made it happen. Like I said, both Duke didn't really shoot the three at that well. I think they shot 17%. Kentucky was around 40. And both teams, neither one of the teams really shot overall well. There's a lot of missed shots because both teams had 30-plus rebounds. Duke had 43 rebounds. And, so there was a lot of missed shots. There was a lot of rebounds to be had, a lot of second opportunities. But overall, man, they pretty much matched up really well together. We almost had 10 turnovers, and we had been, a low turnover team. So we had a few more turnovers than normal. But I will credit that to Duke is actually a good defensive team, I believe. We had 8 blocks tonight. So, we was protecting the rim a little bit. I know a couple of those came off some jump shots, but overall, man, we was playing some solid D. We had 4 steals. We had 17 assists. We was moving the ball still. So I'm really, I can't say enough how impressed I am with this team, man. I know they, a lot of them came from some smaller schools. So they all got a lot to prove. I feel like this team is just built from the top leadership on down to guys that just have something to prove, and they got a chip on their shoulder, and they trying to show college basketball that Kentucky is not one person. Kentucky is a brand. Kentucky is a program with history and prestige, and they trying to carry the torch. And so far, so good. Like I said, I think everybody is feeling more and more comfortable with, like, we got our guy, and I feel like Pope is going to have good things in store for this program. I feel like it's only going to get better. And this year, I just want, games like this, I want us to be competitive. I want us to, we might lose a few games like this, few tough games. Because we're going to probably have a lot of games like this because just the SEC is crazy competitive. So I feel like we got a shot to make some noise this year, man. I'm excited. Can't say enough about the toughness of these guys, man. They just never gave up, never quit. And like I said, there was a few moments in the game where it looked ugly. Excuse me. I feel like I feel like there was one point where they were down by 10 points and it could have went super left, and they just stayed in it, man, mentally and physically. They didn't give up. They listened to Coach, what Coach Pope was telling them, and they started making plays, and they fought and clawed their way back in the game and made it happen. Anyways, we wrap it up right there, man. I'm excited. You guys let me know how you feel about this game and how you feel about the team after us getting the victory over a top 10 opponent. It's, like I said, we haven't felt that a whole lot over these last several years, but I feel like we could be on our way back. So you let me know what you think about it in the comments, and we'll get back at it next time. Sports and Discourse with Derek Stevenson.